Thank you, everybody, for coming back for another episode of the Melanin Wellness Podcast. Listen, y'all, we are going to have a phenomenal guest today. We're going to be talking all things strength training, right? Like I talk to you guys about this all the time and tell you that it is so important, but maybe you need to hear from somebody besides me, okay? All right, but y'all know how we do over here. Before we get started, we always do our 30 seconds of gratitude. So I'll go ahead and start. I am grateful for healing, the ability to be able to naturally heal my own body with the foods that I eat, the exercises that I do, and the stress management tools that I use. The ability to gain knowledge, because not everybody can do that. Not everybody has the fortitude and the ability to be able to go out and search for what they need, the ability to share that knowledge with others that don't have that very same ability. And I also want to be grateful for peace. Not everybody has peace in their homes, in their lives, the war in Ukraine. And I pray for peace for those people every single day. Now, I have a guest on the show today, and my guest, Mo Atkins. Would you like to chime in on our 30 seconds of gratitude and give
Um,
yours?
I'd love to. I think for me, my gratitude would be just the opportunity to be able to move. I say this because I recently got into an injury. So I think we
Mm,
sometimes take for granted the small things of just basically tying up our own shoes, sitting
yes,
down. So I'm grateful for the ability to move. A lot of
yes,
people don't have that. So I'm grateful for not being in pain 24/7. It's a
yes.
great thing. So I think for me, it's just my health. I'm grateful for my health.
Thank you so much. And y'all know that might have been more than 30 seconds, but y'all know I always say it. Even if it was, you can never be grateful enough. So now today, let's get into the importance and power of strength training as we age. Again, I know you probably have heard it before, but we're going to get into the real true details from our guest, Mo Atkins. She is a certified personal fitness trainer. She is a level 1 nutrition coach by Precision Nutrition, and I know y'all know who they are. She's also a healthy eating weight loss coach, and she has over 10 years of experience helping women to begin their fitness journey through a collaborative approach to transfer knowledge that allows you to create sustainable, keyword, y'all, sustainable skills to maintain their results. Welcome to the show, Mo. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm happy. I'm actually good. I said it earlier. Like I'm grateful for my health, so that means a
Yes,
lot to me right now. So it's a good day. Can't complain.
yes.
Nothing. And yourself?
Good. I am wonderful. I am wonderful. Same here. Same here. Yoga has given me the ability to be able to manage injuries and pain. So I understand that whole injury and then trying to train. It is not an easy thing. So
Mm.
tell us a little bit more about you and why you chose to start this particular business.
I think for me, I've always been an athlete,
Hmm.
and I've always been athletic. I've always done stuff like that. I think the biggest change for me was, I think, was in my late 20s, early 30s. Now I'm aging myself, so ignore that. I just came out of a bad relationship, and I
Mm,
and I saw myself. I'm just like I gained like maybe an extra 20 or 15 pounds, and I
wow.
just was like, okay, I'm hitting my 30s. I'm not where I want, and I need something to release myself. I actually started with rock climbing first. Like
Wow.
I got into rock climbing.
Oh, you brave.
Oh, I've been outside. I've been outside. Just one time I was up in this on the rocks and I looked out there. I'm like, this is a nice view. But I'm like, what the hell am I doing up here? I need another hobby. I was like, I
Listen,
need another
I ain't
hobby.
even climbing up there, so
But I think for me, finding what it did for me and coming out of a bad relationship and helping me mentally and helping me shape what I wanted to look and just the ability to see my progression as
mm,
I aged. Like
yes,
I mentioned 10 years. So like I've always been in fitness injury, but there's times like, relationships like just hits you. And
yes,
then I find that as we get older, a lot of us in our late 20s, 30s, we just lose ourselves like I did. And
mhm,
trying to find yourself at the late 40s or 50s is harder. So
yeah,
I'm one of the fortunate ones that had the opportunity to find herself before she hit 30. Like
right,
when I turned 30, I remember hitting that. I was just like, okay, I started strength training myself. I actually had a coach at one point, and physically and mentally, I'm a lot stronger.
Mm,
And when I say strength training, again, it doesn't mean lifting weights or going to the gym. Strength training, as you mentioned, is yoga. Like if you can do power yoga, if you do something that involves moving your body weight,
mm-hmm.
that's strength training. Like
Yes.
again, there's so many different types of strength training. Again, I'm not here to say you need to go to the gym and lift some weights. I'm saying to you, you need to move your body, you need to push yourself physically. One of the biggest things I tell my clients is that it's nice that a lot of people, for especially women, we talk about glutes, the legs and everything. It's nice to have a nice glutes, but if you fall down, you can't lift yourself up.
Right.
What's the point of having a nice glutes? You can't lift
Right.
yourself up.
Right.
And the biggest thing is from as women is safety. It's really a safety. Strength training requires safety. Unfortunately, we're in a society where, where we could be victims at any time. I'm not saying men
Right.
can't be victim as well, but a lot
Right.
of us women tend to not have upper body strength,
Yes.
cannot push it. Like if you have the ability to structure yourself, like put some weight on you, not be pushed around, at least
Yeah.
you have an opportunity to just fend off people
Right.
from possible kidnapping, anything. It's just you even trying to push on somebody, it's a give. I'm not saying you're gonna be able to do it, but at least you can give a fight.
Right.
If you like if you can't lift a 5 pound weight, that's an issue. If you can't lift your like push, you need to be able to push yourself up the ground. Those are things that are core. I think that should be a necessity as a woman when you're out there to be able to defend yourself to a certain extent,
Right.
right?
Right.
So again, strength training for me is two things like it's mental, physical, as well as when we get older. I think you mentioned you need to strength train, but look at your bone density. As women, we lose a hormone, we go into menopause, we go this osteotherapy,
Mm-hmm.
like there's a lot of things, right? So
Yes.
for me, like I'm not saying you need to be a bodybuilder, okay? I don't say you need to get those muscles. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying to you is that your bone density is going to reduce as you get older. Period.
Yes.
That's life.
Yes. It's
Now,
unavoidable.
it's not. I'm not even lying. Like this. What I'm saying with strength training is that the ability to maintain some muscle density, some bone density, so you can minimize the kind of loss you have. At the same time, a lot of people with strength training don't have the ability to move a certain way because they've sat down for so long. So if you for some reason fell or just slipped, right? You know, that muscle, that density breaks easily. So then you
Right.
got to get hip replacement, you got knee issues, stuff like that, because you haven't basically prepared yourself for aging. So strength training is basically preparing yourself for aging. One of the things you have to prepare yourself. You've seen frail people, you've seen them. You can see the difference between a 6-year-old that actually works out and a 60-year-old that doesn't work out. I'm
Right.
not saying that life is not fair. That 6-year-old that worked out may die sooner than the one that doesn't. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying to you as a person, like you could choose to be living in a retirement home in front of a TV and can't move at the age of 60, 65, or you can work on making sure that your body, you're preparing your body for aging so that when you're 60, 65 and you worked all those years of hustling, grinding, and you can't move and you have to spend all your money on healthcare now, it's a waste of time. Like that's not a
Right.
life.
It's
You
one
know
of
what I
those
mean?
things where it's like it's either you spend time now taking care of yourself or you take out time later to go to the doctor and take medications. Like which one do you want to do? It's a choice. And so I know earlier you mentioned injury. Tell our listeners a little bit about how to continue their strength training journey in spite of an injury. Like how do you maintain that strength, because those who have stronger muscles are definitely going to recover better, you know, but even those who don't, we still have to try to, minimize that recovery time. So share with them how to maintain that routine throughout an injury.
Great question. I actually lived through that just recently. But I think the first thing is the injury that you have to get examined. You have to determine if it's actually something that's more serious or if it's basically just very surface. So for
Right.
me, I had an SI joint. So I saw a chiropractor for a good, like my injury took me 6 weeks to heal.
Mm,
And I was given specific type of exercise and not exercise, yeah, exercise and flexibility movements to
hmm.
improve it, right? So there's two parts to the answer to my question. The first thing is get it checked, determine, okay, am I clear to work out, right?
Yes.
And let's say if you have maybe shoulder problems, some of that, okay, maybe they tell you can't do your shoulders, but doesn't prevent you from working on your legs. You know, doesn't
Right.
prevent you from being active. There's different parts. If your shoulders affecting your overall body, or maybe your back, a lot of people have back injuries, right?
Yes.
So a lot of times I've had clients that I remember this one woman, she just graduated from me. She's 63 and she had knee problems and back issues.
Mm,
You need to get braces. Like you need to have knee compressions, and you need to
right.
have like I'm not talking about waist trainer. I'm talking about something that's going to protect your back. Okay,
Right.
those are things that you can use while you're training to minimize yourself from or overextending and keeping your body tight. So those are
Okay.
things like, let me step back first. Once you find out you can still work out,
Mm,
get the right specific, if required, depending where you hurt, the equipment to make sure that you don't overexert that muscle. Okay.
right.
If you are going to work that muscle, you're allowed to work that muscle. If you're not
Right.
allowed to work that specific muscle, work another muscle until it
Yes.
heals. And
Yes.
if you're speaking to a chiropractor or a physiotherapist and they're giving you stretches, do the stretches. Okay. Do the stretches. Just do the stretches. I'm letting you know. I was not it's painful. The stretches are painful. I'm not the last one to say they are painful. There are days I was like, I hate this, but I'm just like, I need to be able to walk. Like getting off
Yes.
the couch, just sitting was so painful. Like I understand pain. It's really recent, so I can understand.
Yes.
The second thing is collect your ego. What I mean by that is
Yes.
that, yes, maybe you could, let's, for anybody's listening, maybe athletic or something, like collect your ego. And what I mean by that is I had to collect my ego. Okay. I was like, I want to lift. And I was like, okay, respect you. Also respect your age. Collect your ego, respect your age. If you're 40 and you try to lift that, you're injured, you're not 20. Okay. You're not 20. Respect your age. So what I mean by that is basically be patient with yourself. Take your time, do the necessary actions that be described to you,
Yes.
right? Make sure you do that. And if you can't really move or stuff like that, being active means just going for a walk, stuff like that. You want to stay that way. But the
Yes.
main thing for me is if you have any knee issues or shoulder problems or back, and you should really get into braces or compression to
Yes.
maintain, because a lot of people work out, they don't use proper form and they may
Mm-hmm.
overextend and you may put
Yes.
more pressure. So I'm not young. Okay. I know I
Yes.
look young, but I'm
I'm
not
not
young.
either.
Okay.
I'm
I
not
know what you're
either.
saying. You look good. I'm just saying that
Thank
even if
you. So do you.
just saying you just need to, there's no shame in wearing that knee brace or wearing that like not back but back, like weightlifting weights, just to protect yourself.
I know
Because
exactly what you're talking about. I've seen
yeah,
those. And I'll say this. I mean, for me, it's not so much age that plays a part for me. It's more of what is your fitness level?
okay,
Because I'm 45. And so
liar, but
I
go ahead.
huh?
I say you're a liar, but go ahead.
I wish. Listen, every morning when I get up or when I go to do squats and my knees sound like a herd of goats chewing aluminum cans. Okay, listen. No, it's more for me, it's more about your fitness level because here's the thing. I am more fit now than I was in my 20s. Because in my 20s, I took so much for granted. I was like, please, I don't need to work out. What I need to work out for? I look like this. Please, I don't need to do all of that. I ain't got time for any of that. I did not work out in my 20s. I did not begin working out until my late 20s, early 30s. And that's when I really started hitting it and started to become, fitness trainer and all this kind of stuff, fitness instructor and things like that. But it's my fitness level, so I can lift and I can strength train and my body is stronger because of my yoga practice, much stronger now at 45 than it was even in my 30s. So I think that a person needs to assess their fitness level to determine what's appropriate for them. Would you
100%.
agree with that?
100%, 100%. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
even like as a fitness instructor, or even a personal trainer, like the first thing you have to do is when you see a client and maybe this one-on-one, you look at their fitness level, you let them know, okay, there's certain things I can't prescribe to you, and there's certain
Yes.
things you can't do. Like you need, there's no way I can tell you to go jump 6 feet and you can't barely walk. Like I can't
Right.
give you exercise. Like I find what scares me most is a lot of people when they talk about squats and certain things like that, or deadlifting, if your mobility is very limited,
Mm.
putting heavy weights on you or having you do certain movements may be counterproductive.
Yes.
And you also, it's not even about the fitness level, it's also structural alignment. So what I
Right.
mean by that is a lot of us are in front of a laptop, in front of our phone, our shoulders are rolled in,
Mm,
our like a lot of those stuff needs to be addressed. Like
yes.
strength training does not mean that you need to run a marathon. Strength training can also undo some of the tensions you've had from working 9 to 5. It can help
Yes.
you with upper body strength, fix your rolled shoulders, fix your
Mm,
like just help. The point of strength training is for longevity. So you're right, like your fitness level is 100% important. At the same
yes.
time, your structural alignment is very important, because I can't give you certain things if I know that you can't physically move that or go through that range of motion.
Right, right. And that's one of the things that I address in my yoga classes is I do yoga sitting in the chair all the time to show people that, listen, you can do this in your chair, especially those of us that are hunched over the computers all day long with your wrists bent like this, that kind of thing. And so that rolling of the shoulders, those neck exercises, those head exercises, those wrist exercises are so important. And I start my classes off with those a lot, especially when we're doing seated classes and people are like, oh my gosh, my neck feels so good, my shoulders feel amazing, I had no idea. Like, we carry so much tension in our necks and shoulders and things like that, and we don't realize it until it starts to ache. And by then, when it's aching, now you're
Mm.
chasing it, trying to fix an issue that's already there. So yeah, I stress those neck and shoulder and wrist exercises constantly. As a matter of fact, I do a live on my Facebook page every Wednesday at 12, just 15 minutes makes all the difference in the world for a lot of people. I get messages. They're like, oh my gosh, that just helps so much because, and I'm like, just keep watching this and do this every single day to keep that area loose. So you were talking about braces. Do you have any specific braces that you could suggest to our audience that you know are really good to helping protect those, that back, those knees, even those elbows, as you were talking about?
So not specific braces, but like weightlifting belts. So
Mm-hmm.
I've had clients that have had injuries in the back. So weightlifting belts you can find Amazon, everything. There's no specific. Harbinger was one I used to use. So you want
Okay.
that fits you nicely. It's not, again, it's not what do you call it? What does women wear? Those,
The
it's
waist
not.
trainers.
Yeah, it's not waist trainer. That's not what I'm asking you again. Okay. That's not what I'm getting. Like,
Listen, you can barely move in some of the things
I'm just
anyway.
saying,
So,
okay. So you're looking at like a weightlifting belt. Also, if you
okay.
are having struggle, go to a fitness depot area or like a business, have them check you out, make sure you can move in that, because you're looking for something like that that's gonna help your back. If you're
Okay.
struggling, a physiotherapist should be able to suggest you some. Also, I wanted to step back with that. A lot of people don't realize that it's not only fitness train. Like, as a personal trainer, I can't fix you 100%. I
Right.
can't fix you.
Right.
There's different health professionals that can help you. So if you work in a corporate environment or you have benefits, use your benefits, people. Chiropractor,
Yes.
acupuncturist, use them, please.
Yes.
Like, it's just sitting there. You're technically kind of paying for it. The reason why I say this is, by the time you realize you have to see them, it's too late sometimes. Like,
Correct.
I'm just, I think a lot of people think, okay, you know what? No, then not all chiropractors crack you. I'm not saying you need to get cracked, but sometimes you may want to see, okay, get them to look at your structural alignment and determine, okay, I have issues here. What do I need to do to learn how to fix those issues? And they can give you exercises that can help you. Because
Right.
when you hit 50 or 60, trying to undo that, and that's years and years of tension, as you mentioned, in the neck and that stuff like that. The reason why I say this on a personal level, I saw a chiropractor like 5 years ago. First
Mm-hmm.
time ever seen, second time, yeah. And he did a structural alignment. He showed me my spine was curved, and I
Mm-hmm.
was just, it's like stage 4, stage 2, stage 3. I was at stage 2, and I was lucky enough that he was able to correct that. But what I'm saying is that people at stage 3, stage 4, at that point, you're just mitigating pain. Like,
Yes.
that's what he was telling me. It's just mitigating pain. If I'm at 2 and I'm relatively active, that means there's certain things I wasn't recovering properly. I wasn't stretching properly. And even
Mm.
as a fitness person, sometimes you're so zoomed into like working that you sometimes don't take care of yourself. So it's a
Yes.
reality check for me.
Yes.
And a lot of my experiences, I tell my clients, I bring it to them because it's like, I know what it was like to go through that at my
Yes.
age. And if you're 50, 60 trying to deal with that, it's not a pleasant feeling.
Yes.
It's not. And
Yes.
it's not even only women. Like, I've seen so many people younger than me. It's just, I'm saddened for some people. The reason why I
Yes.
say this, I remember a client that you couldn't see her neck. You could not see her neck because that's how restricted it was for such a long time. And she had
Wow.
to see a chiropractor with me. I referred her to one I know, and we worked on stretching, and she couldn't even lift her arms like a broom over her shoulders. That's how
Oh,
tight it
wow.
was.
So
So
her
we were
range of
able to
motion was
was
just so
gone.
limited.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yoga is a good thing, and the stretches. I incorporate stretching sorry, let me step back. A lot of people think of flexibility and mobility. These are two different things.
Right.
Flexibility is, yeah, like flexibility is the way your muscle tissue strength is lengthened,
Yes.
while mobility
Yes.
is walls lengthened can move in that range of motion.
Right.
And there's, yeah, there's so many of us that can't do that.
There is,
And
and
there's
I've
so many
seen
of
the
us.
suffering as well, and it's barely, they're barely able to move sometimes, and that's one of the things, again, it's one of the things I love so much about my yoga practices, because I'm able to help people from where they are. And that's one of the things that I tell people throughout my course all the time. Meet yourself where you are, because that's where I'm going to meet you. So if you're in your bed and you really can't get out of your bed, that's okay. I got you. I got you, because you can do yoga from your bed. You don't have to get down on the mat if that's not what you're able to do. We can do standing asanas. We can do chair asanas. There are so many ways to make it adaptive to help end a lot of people's suffering. And that's one of the reasons why I started my business, is because I I saw the need for healing in our community. I saw it. And it was just, it was palpable. Like I can't even really describe it. And I could just feel the pain and the need for something different. Because at the end of the day, a lot of the medications that are prescribed to us do other things to us, and they do other things to us as side effects. They may stop our pain initially, but then they'll do other things to us and cause other issues. So tell me about an impactful experience in your life.
Through my, it's a good question, actually. I think for me, it would have like when I started really getting into the business of training people, you forget that you can make a difference in people's life.
Right.
So I didn't like, I was scared to be an entrepreneur.
Mm.
Because you're like, who am I? Like, the whole, who am I? So the reason
Imposter
why,
syndrome.
yes, the reason why I say this is I had a client. Um, I remember meeting her, and I was like, okay, right, and she wouldn't go to the gym by herself. She
Mm.
would not go to the gym by herself. She would have to go with someone. And the goal we had while she was with me was she had to go to the gym by herself once a month. So it was phases that we did that. The reason why I say this is she made a huge impact in my life personally. She helped me expand my business. I didn't even know that it was impossible. But what I remember seeing, it was during COVID. She went to a hotel, and she was telling me, Mo, I'm working out. Like, she was never a gym person. So she was able to take what I taught her and incorporate it. And she was always afraid to lift heavier. I'm gonna go back to remind me to go back on this. And I say this because then she also sent me a video one time. She goes, Mo, and she sent me a video of her leg pressing, and she had like weights on the side, and she's like, guys are watching me. And I'm just saying, like, it's just a transformation
Wow.
from just being scared to go by herself to
Yes.
taking initiative to go by herself,
Yes.
going during vacation time. And I saw her, like, she posted something, and she was doing some of the exercises I've taught her, and she's
Yes.
doing it. I'm just like, oh, look at you, girl, go girl. I was just like, so I think what you mean is like, is just seeing how people grow
Yes.
over the time that you're with you, and how
Yes.
much you can change. Oh, just one guy, he's still my client right now. He's trying to use me as a crutch. I'm telling him, you can't use me as a crutch, but he de-aged by 10 years. And I remember
Wow.
when I saw him, he looked like he was like in his 60s. I see him now, and you can see his smile is confident, and his
Wow.
body, like, he had a rolled shoulder and is like bent to the back. It's straightened now, and he stands more proudly. So for me, the most significant thing is just seeing how much of an impact making a difference to people's life on a
Yes.
personal
Yes.
level. That was
So,
like just,
okay, so tell me, what lesson did you learn from that experience?
No, no, I have an answer for that. It's a good question.
Yes, I
I
know,
think
I
it's the
know.
fact you don't realize how much you don't realize the person you are
Mm,
and the impact you can have on other people's life.
wow.
That's it
Yeah.
for me. I think that's the biggest change I've
Wow.
had in my business is that I didn't like you said people don't people come in and tell you like thank you Mo, and they are impacted by by you coming to their life and
Yes.
showing them what there's possible. They're
Yes.
impacted by that, and as usually like I'm just me. Like this
Yes.
is just me. Like I'm nobody special. And I think of myself like I'm not saying I'm not, but I'm not somebody that ever thought that I can make a big difference in people's life. So
Yes.
that's what I found about this. Like that's why I love what I do because they just get like you just like oh look at you go, and they inspire me. They do. They're just like I'm like if they could
Yeah.
do it, why can't I do it? Right?
That's awesome. That's awesome. So if someone wants to work with you, like what does that process look like? How can they reach out to you?
They can visit me on my website at
Okay.
www.lyblfitness.com.
Okay.
Or if you want, yeah, or my Instagram, same LYBL Fitness. There's different services I provide.
Mm,
I do online training, and you can work with me one on one, or you can work with me in through an app. But before we either way, if you don't even want to work with me, but you're just asking questions and you want something, then feel free to reach out. I do also have a private Facebook group where I have information. I have some of my clients that do post their own videos in there for inspiration, motivation. So
mm.
that's really good. But I think before I go further, I just want to mention to a lot of women out there when I say strength training, don't think you're going to get bulky. Okay. It doesn't like you need to understand that a lot of it is intergenerational change and intergenerational thought process of women should look or lift weight because they're gonna get bulky, they're gonna look manly. I want you to understand that it's not about looking manly. It's about making sure that you yourself are able to withstand the aging process as you age. Simple as it is.
Nice. Nice. Mo, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. I appreciate you. I appreciate all your insight. And thank you, family, for tuning in to another episode of the Melanin Wellness Podcast. Y'all know how we do over here. I love y'all, love y'all, love y'all. Appreciate you for tuning in and always riding with me. And until the next episode, you all stay well and live well. I love you. Mwah.